Now, President William Ruto is yet again on the spotlight. This time round from his former high-ranking official, the former Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u. The former Cabinet Secretary has made a scathing attack on his former boss, accusing him of high-handedness, terming his administration as a government of wheeler dealers. Jeff Kirui with the details.
Exactly 2 years after his exit from government, former Treasury CS Professor Njuguna Ndung'u has lifted the lead on President William Ruto's administration. The former CS now says the head of state overruns institutions, breeding fear among state and public officials, forcing them to conform.
The current president overruns all the institutions. And that is why everybody in those institutions will have to conform for fear.
Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, who was speaking in Sweden, alleges that the overreach by the head of state on independent institutions has only served to weaken them. Professor Ndung'u, who was among the casualties after President Ruto dissolved his cabinet in July 2024 after the June 2024 Gen Z protests that rocked the country, seemingly attributes his acts from cabinet to his firm stance.
I refuse to do deals in the Ministry of Finance. I can't do deals. I know. It follows you to your grave. It doesn't go away with the regime, by the way. There are people who are my friends that were caught up in some of those things, including in the central bank. And even by the time they died, they were still being followed by those things. The cases were not concluded because it becomes a major punishment.
It is not the first time that President William Ruto's style of leadership has been subjected to criticism. His former deputy Rigathi Gachagua has maintained that the head of state hears but listens to none.
William Ruto runs a one-man show. He even advises advisors on how to advise him. Nobody knows anything, but most of the people are not courageous enough to stand up and say no.
Former Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, who also served as Attorney General in President Ruto's administration before being moved to the Ministry of Public Service and later dismissed, is on record accusing the president of being a one-man show who rarely seeks advice in matters pertaining the country. Muturi says his office, then as principal legal advisor to the government, was often ignored or not consulted on critical, legally sensitive government policies. Jeff Kirui, KTN.
You have humiliated me